elites cushion themselves from the effects of all these policies. And frankly, they don't have a farm where anyone can come and claim that all of a sudden their watered field is an inland waterway. But that goes back to something else we were talking about, what Drucker would call the knowledge workers and the people who work with stuff. What years ago they said that the distinction between atoms, real stuff, and bits, or information. The reality is, and by the way, I'm a Christian theologian again, so I got to come back and say that the Christian worldview validates both the intellect and the body. But, we are material beings. We've got to have stuff. We have to eat food. The environmentalists in California and the regulatory state would basically make it impossible to grow food in the breadbasket of North America. So how's this going to end? I mean, even people who shop at Whole Foods have to have food.
It's very dangerous because all of the things you've outlined have national security implications. Just take the green revolution. So now here in California, we have the 5th largest reserves of natural gas or oil. The Monterey Shale Formation is comparable to the Bakken Field. We can't touch it. We can't touch Anwar in Alaska. We're going after lenders and pension funds and hedge funds so that they don't invest their capital with fossil fuels. We went after Keystone and stopped it. We stopped all federal leases. The result was that immediately they projected additional 3 million barrels by now under the Trump administration. Now we're 2 million less. And as a result, gasoline, I filled up diesel fuel yesterday, $6.10. Just talked to a person, Mexican-American fellow who's very poor, and he has an old diesel pickup, and he had to go to 3 different places to fill it up to find diesel because there's a $75 limit. And what are we doing? We're asking Iran for oil. We're asking Venezuela. We're asking Venezuela, a narco state. We just asked Vladimir Putin before we went into Ukraine. We're still buying his oil probably until this week. And we're asking the House of Saud. And so in the left, I guess they've been telling us that the earth is a village. Why in the world is it cheaper? It's better, and it's more environmentally sound to have the Russians or the Venezuelans take something out of the earth in a way that we do much more environmentally sound. And when we help our own people, and then we become energy independent, and we don't have to send young kids over there to fight to.
It is insane. It can only be explained by ideology. It can't be explained even
only ideology. It's not empirical. It doesn't make any sense other than ideology.
Right. And you talk about the evolutionaries, and these basically are cultural Marxists. And I get a lot of heat for using that term, but I learned the term from the cultural Marxists.
They're very proud of you. Gramsci and they're proud of it. And they feel that the system has to evolve constantly toward a sort of a nirvana of absolute mandated equality and sharing of everything. And so whether it's, as I said earlier, you can really see it when they go after the Senate now. That's a really hot topic, especially after the Joe Manchin era. They do not like the idea that 250,000 people in Wyoming have one senator and 20 million here, even though the founders knew that disequilibrium was natural, and that they wanted to privilege the states. They want to make the Senate exactly like the House, and they want to expand the House to some fantastic number of 3,000 or 4,000. So they don't like the system because it doesn't bring them the desired results.
Well, one of the Christian principles I take a bit of hope in, my ultimate hope is in Christ, but there are structures of creation that God has put in place. And one of them is that cultures that still have to deal with stuff are very difficult to move unimpeded in an ideological direction of leftism. And so I think that's why the left's so frustrated, is that, I mean, they have been there. Like the people who identify themselves as cultural Marxists, to me, I've had my first year of college in 1977. So that's not new. And they were certain that this dialectic could be playing out long before now. And so there's certain young people who see a a revolutionary opportunity. But for the most part, they're still shopping at Whole Foods. They're still, buying their clothes at Urban Outfitters. In other words, they haven't actually pressed for some kind of post material or post consumer culture.
I've expressed that a lot in writing. I have this idea that leftism, or quality of result, or Marxism, whatever term we use of its calibrations, is a psychological mechanism where people who really don't feel comfortable with poor people or middle class people, or people who really are materialistic, they create this facade that they love humanity but not humans. So it's we've got to stop and more. But I don't really care about that guy around the corner with that old truck. I don't want him around me. I don't care.
Your last major chapter, Professor, is entitled Globalists, and this is a phenomenon we see all around us.
Yeah, it is. It's an ancient idea. The ancients had a word for it in Greek: cosmopolitanism, cosmos, world, polites, citizen. Socrates supposedly said he was a citizen first of the world. Sounds nice, but there's when you expand the world, the governing community, to a world with all different sorts of political ramifications, ethnic, social, it's unwieldy. And so, and it's usually a facade for a few people, elite, to grab power. So whether it was Alexander the Great's brotherhood of man, people are still fooled by that. Alexander killed more people in Asia in his 10 years than almost anybody, but he called it the brotherhood of man. And the same with the Roman Empire, the same with Napoleonic mercantile system in Europe, League of Nations. So they're either one model where a particular enlightened ruler is going to destroy local and national sovereignty and harmonize everything, or you're going to have a transnational body. And it's funny how the dystopia that George Orwell described is exactly that. States have everybody's been reduced to three powers: East Oceania, and etc. But that consolidation of power is what drives people that are the architects of these global systems. And you can see it with the Great Reset in Davos. I talk about these people really, if you listen to them, Klaus Schwab, they really do want to override national laws, boundaries, sovereignties, and then have an elect group of people who just know better than we do, but they don't have the power yet. So they need transnational power. And they always do it with a smile, a suit and tie, and they deplore ignorance and et cetera. So they're very dangerous people. They always have been.